Oh, fancy seeing you here. But I mean, I guess there's been stranger things.
Stop it. Get some help.
That aside, welcome to Raid You Nerds. I am about to watch the trailer for Stranger Things Season 4, Volume 2. So the last 2 episodes of this season of Stranger Things. I'm doing it by myself because the other nerds have not caught up on the series yet, losers. So please sit back, enjoy, and if you aren't prepared to hear Kate Bush's song for another continuous 2 to 3 weeks or months, well, I've got some bad news for you. But I got some good news for you too. If you like this video, please make sure you hit that thumbs up. Also, we would appreciate it. I would appreciate it. The Stranger Things people would appreciate it. Kate Bush, depending on how you feel about that song, either will or won't appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel. And if you want to stay up to date with all of our nerd happenings, please hit that notification bell. We call it Smashing the Dinghy, and you'll just be notified when we do stuff. But anyways, enjoy, you nerd! Like another version of me has already said, it's just me, Mr. Cack, watching the Stranger Things 4 Volume 2 trailer. I'm excited, so I hope that this trailer gets me adequately hyped for a season I've already really enjoyed so far. So here we go. Like, comment, subscribe.
I know you're frightened.
And there's Kate Bush.
You're terribly frightened by what you've seen.
That wasn't Kate Bush, the song playing in the background.
But I'm
You
not
know
going
what
to
I'm
lie to you.
Nice.
Your friends are not prepared for this fight. Hawkins will fall.
My friends need me.
You're not ready.
He's not going to stop. Not until he's taken everyone.
Let's do it.
But I have this terrible feeling. It might not work out for us this time.
That's not good.
It is over. Now I just want you to watch.
Ooh!
Your friends have lost.
Make a deal with God! Okay, so, listen, I gotta take these out. Listen, everything, so, to clarify, because I don't know if I've said this yet, because I haven't had a chance to talk about Stranger Things on anything Raid You Nerds really yet. Season 4, Stranger Things 4, the Volume 1 portion of it, I've really thoroughly enjoyed. Now, is it perfect? Of course not. If you want to find any issues with it, you surely have. But I will say I thought it was a step up, a drastic, like millions of steps up from Season 2. Was not a big fan of Season 2. And while I did personally enjoy Season 3, I think this has been better than Season 3 thus far. And this climax, there's just a lot of goodness in this. And one thing that I get a sense or a feeling of when I saw this trailer, while watching this trailer and seeing them dressed for battle, going into the Upside Down, and finally taking the fight to Vecna and those on the other side, on the Upside Down and the Upside Down. They look a lot. So one, the easiest comparison to draw is looking at that and seeing Red Dawn, right? You see that, you see the Red Dawn, the high school students fighting against the invasion of communism. But for me personally, there's a sense of, I don't know if you remember this movie. It was called Little Monsters. It starred Fred Savage, Ben Savage, and Howie Mandel. And honestly, it's one of those like guilty pleasures I always like think about like every so often movies. But it reminds me of the climax sequence of that movie where Fred Savage gathers up his friendly forces. Whichever Savage is it Ben Savage or Fred Savage? I forget which one's the older one. The eldest Savage. He gathers up the bully, his little girly friend, his other friend, and they go into the monster world, under the bed world, and are going in to retrieve his little brother from the king of the monsters, that little creepy, almost looks human but is very, very wrong boy. And so it's one of those things where they dress up kind of Red Dawn-esque as well. So I get a vibe of that from that. And I think the reason I get that vibe from this is because it's a mixture of both legitimate older actors who are the high school or almost college age ones, and then the younger ones. I mean, Dustin, even though Dustin is like a full-grown man by the time they started filming this, because of just how long things have been delayed, it still gives off a just into high school, very young vibe. And for me, that's where I go to Little Monsters. But I'm interested, right? I'm interested to see how all of this comes to a head. I'm interested to see, I hope what they do in these last 2 episodes, or I guess last 2 movies of this season, because episode 9? Yeah, episode 9 is going to be 2 hours and 30 minutes, I think is what I saw. So you're gonna get a feature-length film from one of these episodes for certain, and it feels like, I don't know, for as much as I've enjoyed this, I hope they give us more to how much involvement Vecna or number 1 has had with all of the happenings. Because if you're like me and you've been on TikTok or anything, you've started to see people point out that there's been clock chimes in all the seasons thus far, and clocks have been heavily brought about. And maybe that because of things that happened throughout seasons, like little small things that have been laced into season 1, season 2, and season 3, maybe Vecna's hand has been conjuring all of this. And while it still hasn't been explicitly said, I hope it is. I really want to know. I think I want to have some clarity too on like what the full relationship is with the Mind Flayer and Vecna. I've seen other people talk about this in like comments and stuff like that, about how they are now seeing Vecna, seeing this psychic get thrust into the upside down and get transformed, and kind of now seemingly controlling things within there, as him being maybe the true force of evil within that. And with there being an additional season, I don't see that. I think that there is still the ever-present Mind Flayer. And if you want to hold this as true to form, for the, I guess the D&D analogy they're putting there is that Vecna isn't the final boss. Vecna is a 5-star general to the Mind Flayer, but isn't the final boss. So I would like to see what the relationship is with the Mind Flayer. Has the Mind Flayer been... What is the involvement the Mind Flayers had with Vecna? Or, number 1, once they got into the upside down? Did they just give them some power and control over things and then let them run loose with what they were wanting to do? Kind of what this negativity that they had built up? Or is this entirely Vecna's doing and the Mind Flayer's just like, cool, it's not messing with anything I want. If anything else, you are helping open the door for me. And I think either way, it still makes the Mind Flayer and its true motives at the end of the day pretty interesting. Now, I've heard people get grumbly, and maybe this is more article reviewers and not actual fans and actual audiences like they're watching this. But I've heard some people say that giving their more human motivations to these big bads diminishes what makes the original intent of Stranger Things less scary, or diminishes the scare factor of it all, the horror of it all. I disagree. I think you can have a little bit of the mindlessness, but I think when you have something that is as present or omnipresent as the Mind Flayer, if you find out that it basically had this powerful psychic, this Vecna, that is doing all these things on its whim, and it merely just watched this guy go loose with the powers in the Upside Down and trying to break through to the other side, and the Mind Flayer is just like, man, do you. I still think that makes that an incredibly dangerous thing, right? Because this is no sweat off his back. The Mind Flayer, it's no issue if I lose this thing. Now, what I do have, I don't know, man. I don't want to get too far into season 5 predictions or trying to guess what the next step looks for everything. I think within this, though, we have to embrace the fact that we're going to have some people die. And for me personally, I don't want it to be one of the main cast members, but it feels like it needs to be. And I'm not talking about one of the core center group of boys, although maybe Will dying isn't necessarily that far off the path of what would make sense in story. But the more realistic choices, and I feel like Max is sadly on the chopping block, but the older kids are definitely there. I don't think we'll lose Nancy. I do think Steve is in some red flag zones there. Eddie is someone who's been a surprising fan favorite, and I've enjoyed aspects of Eddie's character. I did not enjoy his cafeteria, we're so much grander than all the clickery, and even though we're a clique ourselves, diatribe, I didn't necessarily like that, but I did grow to like Eddie a lot more as everything went on, and as he kind of further showed his relationship with a character like Dustin. And Dustin's like weird pseudo-fathers he keeps getting. But I am, unfortunately, very concerned for both pseudo-fathers, because I think Steve and or Eddie may not make it past this season. Outside of that, you can't necessarily kill off 11, but 11 may not get out of this unscathed either. There is a bad chance that, season 5 is going to be set up for turmoil, and I don't know. But it is interesting. It is interesting that we're finally seeing our Hawkins group going to war with the Upside Down. Now, this won't be the final battle because season 5 is on the horizon, and I haven't even touched base on the Russian stuff, and it's as good as it's going to get over there. And, I'm interested to see how it all ties back in together. If maybe to escape Russia, they go into the Upside Down and then they get connected with the kids. I don't know. I'm not fully sure on the logic of any of this. But I am very curious to see how it all plays out. Again, been super loving this season. And I hope you have been too. If you haven't already, make sure you like this video, comment, subscribe. Let me know what your thoughts are on Stranger Things Season 4, Volume 1, for sure. Or what you think is going to happen in Volume 2. Love to hear it, love to read it. And I might do like an opinion piece or maybe like a breakdown of things before we get to July 1st. If you throw any comments out there for your thoughts or theories, and I'll run with that too. All right, love you.